Hello and welcome to How to Fest Daily. It's Tuesday the 25th of January already. I put on my special shiny jacket because it is the last installment. But hopefully we have given you enough food for thought to nourish you for the entire festival. My name's Tabitha Jackson and I am the director of this festival, speaking to you from New York City, the ancestral homeland of the Lenape. Our theme today is a big one. It's imagined futures. But before we get to that, let's do our moment of gratitude for all the official Sundance Film Festival sponsors. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I've said it every day. I will say it for every day in my remaining mortal existence. We really appreciate it. And a special extra thank you to our presenting sponsors, Acura, AMC Plus, Chase Sapphire, Adobe, and our beautiful home state of Utah. Thank you. All right, imagined futures. The two most powerful words in the English language are what if. And they describe the animating impulse behind every act of creativity and invention. So, as we like to think of Sundance as a place of imaginative possibilities, I want you to take as your guiding principle today imagined futures and think, what does that mean, not only for us as individuals, but for our Sundance community? So, you know what you got to do. Go forth, Sundancers, and discover. Joining me next, the cinematic maestro and director of the film After Yang, Kogonada. Hello and welcome to How to Fest Daily. I am really excited to be talking to Kogonada today. He is the director, writer, producer, editor of After Yang. Kogonada, welcome. And would you just tell us, for those who haven't seen it yet, what After Yang is about?
Well, it's a very straightforward, it's based on a short story called Saying Goodbye to Yang, and, which is really just a few pages. And it was about this father who was trying to fix this robot that they have as a sibling for their daughter, adopted daughter. He's a Chinese robot, or he helps her kind of connect to her Chinese roots. They just kind of treat Yang as an appliance, as as a aid, and then along the way, they have, especially the father, starts discovering layers of Yang.
But what made you want to make it in the first place?
Yeah, there's a book by James Agee, who called Death in the Family, which I loved, when I read it, and there was something about the essence of exploring a kind of death, which is, I think, if we talk about being human, and certainly the most existential part of that is that we at one point realize how temporal our existence is.
Imagining the future, that's our theme of today, imagine futures. And so there are some beautiful details in your production design and in the small things that we may not notice in the frame, but they are there, which reflect a kind of thinking and a hope that you and your team had about what the future might be. Could you talk a little about that?
Yeah, I think it's, I knew that our future was not going to be this sort of dystopian future that you see, that there had been a period and this is a real reset for humanity, and that they were very now intentionally building some relationship with nature. And so it was going to be very organic, it wasn't going to be defined by metal and glass and the things that we often see, gadgets and floating monitors, that it would feel very grounded, and that a lot of that technology would be invisible, and though it exists and there's a sense that they're calling and talking to each other wherever they want, you never really see the tech involved. We removed all cables, and it's sort of my dream future. I don't I'm not like a Luddite or like against technology, but if it was all invisible, if we didn't have to deal with cables or anything and it was just invisible, it'd be ideal. Alexandra, our production designer, who is also very, forward thinking about future design, had, like recycled water that you see in the house, this gutter that's recycling rainwater, had all these sort of elements and details that just sort of exist in the background.
Behind you, I can't quite see what they are, but is that a collection of DVDs or CDs?
They're DVDs, yeah. They're discs, Blu-ray discs. It's pretty old school, right?
So, okay, let's pretend we're in the Criterion closet, and you're going to turn around and just pull out a film because you love it and say something about it.
Oh my God!
Like, don't even overthink it. Just see what comes up.
Well, I've just recently had my other bookshelves. I gave to all my son upstairs, and he. These are all sort of a bit out of order. But the ones up top here, this is my whole Ozu collection, and this is a real I'll bring this. This is from Shishiku, and it was a box set. That before you could really find Ozu films, and I ordered it from Japan, and it's really lovely and beautiful, and honestly, it's almost just like a museum piece for me. I remember, I love these because it was when, now Criterion has all of his, so many of his films on the channel. I cannot even fathom having that kind of accessibility to that and so many filmmakers. And which gives me a lot of hope for this new generation who, I don't know what it means for a generation to be able to access a whole world of cinema so easily. It's like, in the French New Wave, all those people had access to the Cinematheque, and if you're close to a place like New York, that you can see all the, it kind of creates communities. And I'm just excited that someone from Iowa can watch all of Ozu's films and all of Sacha Ray films and all these, and then like, what are they going to make, and someone from Detroit, what are they going to make, and I think it's exciting, and Sundance means the world to me, honestly. It was the start for me, and I'm just so glad to be able to have a film here again. So I thank you guys. And I feel bad. About 90% of those films are from Criterion, and I didn't choose a Criterion one, but let me just give a shout out to my friends at Criterion as well. All right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kogonada. Okay. Take care. Enjoy the festival.
Okay. Thank you.
What's the point? Why are we doing this? That's not a rhetorical question or anything less than an earnest inquiry. To stand up and make a statement takes courage and conviction. So why are we doing this? To build a legacy or leave a mark? Perhaps. But that makes it sound smaller, less human than it really is. Each of us is passing on a message to tomorrow, because we don't just believe, we know that tomorrow will be better. That the truths we strive for today will let the next storytellers take even bigger risks. Those stories we dare to tell now, even when others try to quiet us, will be what guides our futures. Silence leads nowhere, but optimism opens every door. Together, we're always edging that little bit closer to our new frontier. Think about it and get your mind right.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Sudeep. I'm a programmer here at Sundance. This morning on How to Fest Daily, I'm excited to be sitting down with Joe Hunting, who recently wrote, directed, filmed, and edited We Met in Virtual Reality, one of my personal favorite films. We're premiering in the World Documentary Competition on January 21st. Joe, thank you so much for being here. And I know you are coming from the VR world, so could you maybe give us a little tour of your space?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me. It's an honor to be showing in Sundance and a pleasure to be in conversation here as well. I'm in a platform called VR Chat at the moment in a user-created world called Trees and Hills. by Hagbard Salim, which is actually featured in my documentary in one of the earlier scenes. It's I'm on the watchtower of a really beautiful lake view. So a very nice environment. We Met in Virtual Reality is a documentary filmed entirely inside of the world of social VR, as we're in now. And it was filmed during 2020, during the COVID lockdown. And the film follows two long-distance couples who were growing their relationship in VR during the pandemic as they were preparing to meet physically for the first and second time. And a sign language teacher who is dedicated to building a welcoming community for deaf and hard of hearing VR users. And through these unique stories and character portraits, the film presents a kind of broad emotive impression on what socializing and being in VR is truly like.
Can you talk about what it's like to film in VR? Just even technically, how did you do that? What's the process like?
I shot the entire film with this camera, which was created by a member of the community, and this camera model was also by a member of the community. And this camera allows me to pull focus, change lenses, fly as a drone, and I have every cinematic tool that one would have in real life in VR. So I could take advantage of a lot of, cinematic influences and inspirations I had going into this feature, and I certainly did.
What are you looking at? Are you looking at like a screen in meat space? Are you looking at within the VR space?
Mm-hmm. It is all within the VR space. Now I'm going to give you a look behind the scenes.
Ooh.
I'll give you a treat. So I'm going to change my camera perspective now to my eyes. As you can see here, I'm holding my camera, and you can see that I'm on an f2.8 aperture, a 24mm lens, and I can just open up a wheel here, and through a lot of intricate menus, which I've trained myself to use over kind of a long period of time, I can zoom in. Oh,
That's
one
incredible.
minute. Can zoom in all the way, like 175mm, and then pull out and get onto a much wider lens.
What do you think people's biggest misconceptions are of VR before they use it?
People not quite grasping that there is a real person behind the avatar, which is very simple. But the notion of being present in a space and standing next to someone, and they are embodying that body, and they are actually standing there and you're actually speaking to them, that is what it is. It's nothing more or certain. It's nothing less than that. That is the experience. And I think when those who've never tried VR think about VR, that doesn't quite land until you've tried it.
Was it a solitary experience making the film, or was it how shooting in VR? How is it different in terms of collaborating with other filmmakers?
It didn't feel solitary at any point. Maybe in the edit, it was solitary, but in the production, I was speaking to people constantly and working with communities, and the cast often, chose worlds that they wanted to be in for their scenes, and I always encouraged them to find their own moments in the spaces that I wanted to direct them in. So, yeah, it was a collaboration with the communities, and I'm very lucky to have had the opportunity to have worked with so many different people.
I just want to thank you so much for sitting down with us, Joe, and I want to make sure everyone gets their tickets to stream We Will Meet in Virtual Reality, premiering January 21st at this year's 2022 Sundance Film Festival. So thanks a lot, Joe, for being here, and I hope everyone has a great day.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure speaking with you. Thank you. Enjoy the festival, everyone.
What to do on this fine Tuesday of the Sundance Film Festival 22, halfway through the festival already. Here's the thing. Here's something you should definitely do. Last night, we announced the final film in the World Documentary Competition, Navalny. It is a film not to be missed, so don't miss it. That's a world premiere. That's the last of our world premieres rolling out in this festival when it comes to features. And we have a lot of beautiful second screenings, all that richness that you can catch up on if you missed the premieres. Beyond Film, there is Beyond Film. And we have our cinema cafe today, which is the fresh faces of the festival, those breakout figures, actors, moderated this panel by Joey Soloway. So thank you, Joey, for doing that. Don't miss that. Our big conversation is called Machine Yearning. What a beautiful title. Lots of work this year looking at robots, machine intelligence, and what it is to be human. So that's our Sloan conversation today. What's happening over in Festival Village? Well, I'm glad you asked. The Chase Sapphire LA Times Talks will be in conversation with the film team of God's Country. There's also a great conversation at the Asia Society. They'll be talking with the teams behind Micah, between After Yang, and behind Free Cholsol Lee. And then there's a great conversation at Metaplex Studios, NFTs and the metaverse, for those of you who get off on that kind of thing. Variety having an interesting conversation. But generally, although this happens to be the last How to Fest Daily, there is so much going on, and it will be continuing to go on through until the end of the festival. We have our awards on Friday, so don't forget to vote, because that's going to be interesting, seeing who wins, and then all of those award winner screenings come forth over the weekend. And so do our wonderful selection of satellite screen partners. We're all part of this ecosystem around independent cinema, getting it made and seen. And so we love our partnership with the satellite screens. So have a look at where they are and what's going on. And I want to say thank you for having tuned in to How to Fest Daily. See you on the spaceship always for a bit of after hours, and go forth and discover.